Greetings everybody and welcome to Madrid Ball. Hope you all are safe and sound. The El Clasico is here. The biggest match of football world is just around the corner, and it's time now to let our excitement levels hit the roof because we are just a few hours away from the clash of two of the biggest clubs in the world, and today we are going to assess the prospects of Real Madrid getting a good result in the match. We will also touch upon the injury updates provided to us by the club, and finally we will discuss the key selections that Zidane will have to make, keeping in view the opposition players that we are hoping to come against. So there's a lot to discuss, Madridistas, and we have gone through some bad days, but here I will try my best to get your spirits high for the Clash of the Titans. Coming firstly to the most important news that Zidane has given in the pre-match interview, and of course it's about Sergio Ramos. Zidane had these words to say about the fitness level of Ramos. He is our captain and our leader. We don't take risks with injuries, but Sergio is ready to be with us. We need our players to be 100%, and I think he is. And that is just the news that we were looking for. We spoke about how important Sergio Ramos is for us in the previous videos, and getting that confirmation about the fitness of Sergio Ramos certainly is a blessing for us. Sergio Ramos had worked out individually yesterday. Today he trained along with the group, which does indicate that he has the necessary fitness level. If not 100%, I think he will be at least 95% fit to be training with all the players. Most importantly, we have the duo of Casemiro and Ramos back in the starting lineup because we have seen how the team suffers when even one of them is not present in the defensive setup. There are also some murmurs about Zidane getting the sack, and he was asked whether he felt backed by the club president Florentino Perez, where Zidane responded, "Yes, I felt backed by everyone. I'm with the players and will be with them to the death. They are the ones that run and fight. I want us to be together and change the negative to a positive." Now, if you ask me about it, Zidane does have sufficient amount of equity amongst the club hierarchy. But of course, we have some big matches coming, and we will discuss about those matches in a moment. But if Zidane does fail to give us victories in those matches, the club will be in a very bad position, and I won't be surprised if a decision to let Zidane go is taken. Coming to the key selection dilemmas that Zidane will face, I think the performance that we have seen up till now, we should see Vinicius returning to the starting lineup. He has had a great start to the season, and we will be needing his pace to attack the left side of Barcelona's defense, and we know how Piqué has been humbled by Vinicius in the past. Sergio Roberto, who probably will be in the right back position, we know he is not the quickest, and Vinicius should be a handful for him. And alongside Vinicius, we should see Benzema and Asensio. Benzema, as we know, was rested in the last match, and Asensio looks like the best option to occupy the right wing. But I think Zidane will have to think more about whom to start in the midfield and whom to play in the fullback positions. In the midfield, most certainly, we will see Casemiro. Cruz was rested in the match against Shakhtar later. He did come on in the second half, so I would expect him to occupy one place in the midfield. And here, the major dilemma would be either to play Modric or Valverde. Modric has been one of the bright sparks for us this season, but with Valverde we will get a little bit more physical presence. And if we remember last season, Valverde had a great game at the Camp Nou. So it would be an interesting battle in the midfield because we know Barcelona have De Jong, and in the double pivot we will either see Busquets or Pjanic alongside Coutinho as an attacking midfielder who has really rejuvenated his Barcelona career under Koeman. There are plenty talented players on both sides in the midfield, and Zidane will have to make the decision whether to go for the experience of Luka Modric or the physicality of Valverde. Another dilemma that Zidane will be whom to start in the full-back positions. We know Mendy was played in the right-back position against Shakhtar, but he was far from convincing, so I do expect Nacho to return to the right-back position and Mendy start in the favoured left-back position. But of course, even Nacho has not been convincing in the right-back position, and considering whom he is going to come up against in the Clasico, most likely Ansu Fati, we will need the man in the right-back position to be on his toes, always be alert and agile because the 17-year-old is looking like a special player who has the ability to finish chances. Keeping that in mind, we know Mendy is more sound defensively and has the pace, and hence we may see him again in the right back position with Marcelo on the left, adding to our attacking prowess. I think at the moment we can agree that Barcelona's attack is clicking more than ours, and there are some good players there led by the number 10. We have seen Barcelona have had some good performances this season. Certainly, they have been more convincing than Real Madrid. But we as Madridistas, if we have to cling on to any performance of Barcelona most recently, we will cling on to the Barcelona performance against Getafe, where they were handed the first defeat of the season after the international break. And we would hope that the same Barcelona turns up against us in the El Clasico. Lastly, going into the game, a lot has been made about our form. Yes, we have not been great lately, but how much does this form determine the result of an El Clasico? Now I will try to paint it in a positive way for you all. If we just go back to last season and specifically the second Clasico of the season, we were not really going into the game with victories in the previous matches. We were down on form, we had a few bad results going into the second Clasico. As you see here, on match day 24, we had drawn against Celta at home. Then on match day 25, we had lost to Levante. Then following that defeat, we had lost to Man City in the Champions League before the El Clasico. Yet, with that horrendous form, we went into the Clasico and dispatched Barcelona 2-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu. That is an indication that form may have an effect, but it is not always the determining factor in an El Clasico. When the Clasico comes, the previous form goes out of the window, because in Clasicos, the atmosphere is different, the rivalry is different, and the players just reboot themselves and try to do the best to get the bragging rights. A good performance is possible. The players are under immense pressure to deliver, and in football, anything is possible. So why should we shy away from believing? Now all that we have to hope is that history repeats itself and our players show up in the Camp Nou. It would be tough, it would be difficult, but it is possible, and we believe in possibility. This is a really important match for us Madridistas. We need a good result here, keeping in mind the matches that follow. If you see the fixture schedule after the El Clasico, we will face Mönchengladbach, Valencia, Villarreal, and we will face Inter twice in the next 6 matches. Huesca may be the only easy game we will have comparatively, and to beat all the rest of the opponents, we will have to put in a major shift. A good result tomorrow will definitely be a great boost for us to tackle the rest of the fixtures later on, and hence we need this victory more than Barcelona need it. So let's go to the temples and the churches and the mosques and start offering up prayers for a good results. Just kidding there, fellow Madridistas. Anyway, so that is all we have here in the match preview of one of the biggest games of the season. Get your chins up and get ready, because these are the matches that we crave to see. I hope you like my video. Let me know what you are expecting from this match. Would you like to go with Mendy in the right back position even though he wasn't comfortable there in the previous game? And who amongst Valverde and Modric will you prefer to start in the El Clasico? I will be here for the post-match analysis, and so that you don't miss out on any of my content, hit the subscribe button and leave a like on your way out. I will see you soon. Till then, take care. Glory to Madrid. And as always, Hala Madrid. Yeah.